Yeah. Oh, when I go back there, there's so much stuff because you've got the place called Il Foss, which means the ditch. And in the ditch is where all the nuggets are. There is a couple of people have actually went on holiday since I've left there. And they asked me for locations to go to. And the people went to these places and a lot of it's been blocked up already. Which is like, it seems like they follow the channel around and then just go around and block stuff up.
What up, Beags?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Hey there.
Easy, geezer.
I'm on my lunch break. I've been listening. I was lurking.
How are you going, mate? You all right?
I just want to give a public thanks to Big for creating the beginning and the ending of my videos. He did the intro and the extra for me.
He's a top dog, isn't he? He's a top
He
dog.
is.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Yeah, I've been listening, and I'm look, we got a rain day today, but I'm expecting some new animals to the farm today, so I'm waiting on a guy to bring emus, swans, Japanese imperial ducks, and peacocks. So I'm just waiting on a phone call right now.
That's all right then, mate. Is that your uniform, is it?
Yeah, I wear these shirts. They're real. I can wear them out. I buy them for $5 and they're cheap. I can tear them up, so I don't have to look good on a farm.
You still look good from the coop.
So my issue right at the moment is that I was completely free all day, and then something came up in between when I confirmed with BurnEye this morning and the start of this. So I'm about at the end of time that I have. But I know that we need to get together and talk, all three of us plus BurnEye.
Yeah.
And so I'm not going to be able to hang out.
No, that's
absolutely right.
Can I just add? I think we should, because I was a little bit unprepared for this because obviously my network issue. I've been floating around everywhere, so. If we were to get a proper date together with a structured episode, I could literally.
Oh, we need to do many together.
I've got a hard drive with all everything I've got from around the United Kingdom and Malta, and I know that we could put on probably something that blow the internet up. We like if I was given like a bit of time and I could get all this information together, we could put something together that's phenomenal.
Oh yeah.
I'm always prepared because I've got my blog. I can just pull that up, no problem.
Load it up and boom, there it is.
General idea.
Years of content.
Beags, what do you think of the chapel at Duke University?
Oh yeah. I think I've done a little bit of digging into Durham, and there is definitely mud flood evidence in Durham. There is one interesting thing is forget what's called Black Wall Street event happened in Durham as well. So that's something interesting to look into. And with that, you'll find a lot of the mud flood evidence. They have pavement light in Durham. It's definitely mud flood. I haven't really come out with any of my North Carolina evidence yet because I'm still collecting the data. And I want to do it properly.
And there's a whole improbable story that goes along with the Duke Chapel also. I mean, this is beautiful structure.
Beautiful chapel, yeah.
Arches and organs and bells, and it was said to have been built, I want to say, in the 1930s or something like that. And there's just too many examples.
Anything before 1943, I consider suspect.
Yeah.
And even some of those I wonder about.
I'm with you. I don't know if we've discussed it before, but I'm with you on the thing about the possible 1943, what is it, the Philadelphia experiment, possibly having something to do with changing what happened or our reality.
Yeah, and I'm actually
effect with it, right?
Yeah, I'm actually even more convinced of that than I was when I first started talking about it.
When I started researching mud flood, I'd keep before the early 1850s, 1900s, but then I was finding all these anomalies, and then when I opened up my research to 1943, the whole everything opened up, and it just made so much more sense.
Yeah.
So,
Yeah, something happened. I don't understand the mechanics of how that could have happened, but I do
I don't
think that
either.
there's a connection.
I have many. I'm collecting a series of buildings. I call them anomalies, where I have 2 mud flood buildings on the same exact location, and I find it over and over and over. There's something going on we don't understand.
Exactly. We can just take stabs at what it could have been. I do have a video / blog post that I'm starting to find physical evidence for that connection, and it's called Recovering Lost History. Find the exact title here. That's long. Recovering Lost History from the Estuaries, Pine Barrens, and Elite Enclaves off the Atlantic Northeast coast of the United States. I started to find physical evidence for a connection to the Philadelphia experiment.
Wow, I'd really like to see that.
So
I mean,
you can find it on my YouTube channel, and you can find it in my blog.
I originally started off my Raleigh research thinking that it only went 1 level deep, and I have a friend of mine owns a major demolition company, and he went to do a building to demo a building recently, and he thought that it didn't have a basement, and I said there's going to be a basement, and not only did he find 1 basement, but he found a sub basement, and so basically there's 30 feet below ground level that they didn't even know existed. So it's there's a lot going on.
There is. So there's a Pine Barrens in New Jersey, there's a Pine Barrens in central Long Island, and there's a Pine Barrens in Cape Cod area of Massachusetts, and they're in a line. They're in an alignment with each other.
Does that have anything to do with the Jersey Devil?
It could. I mean, they invent. I don't know. It could. Somebody asked me that in a comment. I don't know. I didn't really go there. But what we're talking about, if anybody doesn't know, so when I first started doing this research, and this is part of the path that I was on to uncovering this. This is books that I've read and things like that. Peter Moon is a researcher from years ago, and he did a lot of work around the Philadelphia experiment and the Montauk project. And this area goes through Montauk as well that I'm talking about. And so I started having this idea of this time loop between 1492, which was the year of the fall of Granada in Spain, and Columbus's first voyage, and 1942, which was midway through World War II. And it was, when I first started looking into it, 1942 was when the Philadelphia experiment took place in July of 1942. You see that year, you see 1943, but I think it was 1942 because
I'm going from memory.
Because the controllers were into anagrams and things like that. And of course, they want to write that off as conspiracy theory, and that never happened. But the first time I ever heard about the Philadelphia experiment was probably around 2006, 2007, from a source that I considered valid. And so basically what I landed on was that there was a time loop, artificial time loop, created by the controllers between 1492 and 1942, with 1717 as the midpoint year. And when I started looking at the history from 1717 on up to the present, I found a lot of anomalies. That was the year that the Premier Grand Lodge of England was founded by the Freemasons. And there were a lot of other things that happened around 1717. That was the same year that the Anno Lucis of the Masons was adopted, which was based on the Anno Mundi of Bishop Usher of Ulster, which is the whole 6,000 years of Earth's history. Other things happening around that time, and just found a lot of anomalies. I mean, it's an occulted timeline. That's what they did. They occulted it. And
I agree. I like what you were saying earlier about the civilizations were actually under the same names, but they were kind of taken over. I think that's in a nutshell what you said. And that really rings a lot of truth to that, because, people were asking, was Tartaria the entire world? No, I don't believe they were, but who was here? And then we don't really find a whole lot of other names. So that really makes me question, really, was all the countries called what they're called today? They were just under different leadership.
So today's names, they've changed a lot of names, but like the empire
Right.
names would pretty much be this part of this empire. And that's where I go to the Moors.
Right.
And when I say Moor, it goes back to ancient Mu. And so what I see is a continuous civilization from Mu through Atlantis on up until relatively recently. And then they've somehow flipped the timeline onto this loop that I'm talking about. And I don't know where fake history ends and and history begins. I don't
That's
know
a very
what year
hard
that
thing
is.
to understand. Now, I tell you one thing am really interested in is the fact that I believe that the blacks were here in America. That what we know as American Indians, the Native American Indians, were actually blacks, and they didn't bring them from Africa; that they were already here. And I think that's something people need to really look into.
Yeah, and that would be the Moors, M-U-U-R-S, known as the Moors. But that's where you get the ancient Mu and all that other stuff. But again, the overview that I'm trying to give is this was a unified worldwide civilization that was aligned with heaven and earth.
Absolutely.
And that did not happen randomly. It just didn't.
No,
and it didn't happen
very connected.
With people fighting each other.
No. They weren't perfect though. I don't believe they were perfect, but they weren't fighting each other like we do today.
Right. They weren't suffering from the lack of knowledge that we are, because it's been removed. So we wouldn't know and wouldn't.
I don't think they were hungry. I don't think they were poor. I think they were very advanced in their knowledge, in their spirituality.
Yeah, I do too.
But I don't think they were perfect.
If you look up Hyperborea, I think they were closer to it than what we are now. In a continuum, I think they were closer to it.
And definitely spiritually.
If you look up Hyperborea,
but they weren't perfect. They fell. Sorry, Michelle.
No, I was just going to say, and I'm going to have to run here. But if you look up Hyperborea, so this is what it says. Okay, in Greek mythology, the Hyperboreans were a mythical people who lived in the far northern part of the known world. Their name appears to derive from the Greek word beyond Boreas, the god of the north wind. Despite their location in an otherwise frigid part of the world, we're told, the Hyperboreans were believed to inhabit a sunny, temperate, and divinely blessed land. That they were giants and, just in very, sick, not sick. They were healthy. And, I think that's a description of the way things were. We were much bigger. Where did the climate change come from?
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
So, have you looked into Mansa Musa?
Yes, I have. Of course I have. I think I've done a video on the guy, the richest man in Africa.
Yeah, and the stories behind that. There's much more to that. I'm just wondering if you guys have gone down that rabbit hole, because I think there's a connection between Africa and South America, and then later North America through migration through that story.
Or colonization, like repopulating areas. Definitely 100%.
Right.
Well, basically the Berlin Conference in 1884, Bismarck was in charge of it, and they divided up Africa among the colonial powers, and then they kind of went in and tore everything up.
Although it wasn't Mansa Musa that came over here; it was his predecessor, and he brought, what was it, 2,000 ships over here and was never seen again.
And he's kind of a visible face to it, because he wasn't just the richest man in Africa. He was said to be one of the richest men in the history of the world.
Right.
but I think again, I think there's more to it than that, than just one person. I think our whole history has just been.
He's just the one that
devastated.
took over the reign after the guy left to go to Africa. So, he went to find the edge of the earth, and he was never seen again. And then you have stories in South America of black people and black giants, and you have the gold that came over here that's been tested that was found from Africa.
Yeah.
So there's legends of this in South America and Latin America.
Yeah, there's we got a lot of work to do. Trying to put the puzzle together and figure out exactly what's gone on here, but it's not what we've been told at all, not even close.
No.
We can just go by what we know and what we see and what we have access to, and that'll just be part of it.
And I think I've told you this before, but you're dead accurate about the trains and canal systems running together throughout everywhere, and they've been destroyed. Absolutely.
Yeah, so a lot to think about. I am going to have to run, but we'll do this again.
Yeah. I mean, what I'm going to do, Michelle, is I'm going to put a file together of Liverpool, and then I'm going to also get a file with that ley line. I'm going to do a separate video with that, to be honest with you. But what I'd like to go through is the images I've got with Liverpool with you. I'd love to do that.
That would be great.
Right.
All right.
And so we will organize
research and obviously
we will organize several more of these, and we will organize the next one probably with Campbell as well. So it'll be probably maybe a little later in the day or whatnot. We know you got to go, Michelle. We know you got to go, Paul, and Feegs. You're halfway through the workday. Happy Good Friday to all, and bless all of you 504 beautiful souls tuning in right now from Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, YouTube, Rumble, and who knows what more. All the channels. It's epic. There's going to be several more of these. Bless all of you for all of the work that you do. Any closing last thoughts, my friends?
Yeah, and I just say that along those lines, we're all working really hard and doing our best to get out the information that we've discovered and have a passion to do. So please bear with us, and I would just ask any comments to be respectful, because we're just out there trying to get this out there, and we're all being bringing forth our piece of the puzzle as sincerely as we can.
I've just
and
got one more
we're
thing.
really, I'm just going to say, and humanity has really been under an existential threat, and they can't lay a finger on us. They have to tell us what they're doing, and that's why they've been lying to us. So humanity awakened is what they fear the most. I don't see them as being invincible whatsoever. I think they're on their way out.
Oh yeah.
But part of it is this process of people, the Great Awakening.
Yeah, one thing I'd like to add here, disclaimer, Michelle, you are the one that brought boots on the ground to YouTube. You know that. I get people telling me all the time, "Oh, you're the boots on the ground." But Michelle, you are the one that brought them words and identified it as that. So anyone that watches it says that Michelle is the one that come out of that. So big up for that, by the way. It gets thrown around a lot, and everyone says it's me. Oh, you did it, but no, Michelle is the one. So I'll just let everyone know that now, while there's a load of people in the house.
Well, thank you, Paul. You've been on my journey. Biggs has been on my journey a couple of years ago, connected with me, and
I found Paul through you, Michelle.
Yeah, Michelle, you kickstarted my YouTube. Like, if it wasn't for you, like saying Paul cooks in Malta now, like I'd still be plumbing on a building site somewhere. So I'm grateful. I'm really grateful.
Well, definitely. I didn't know what the hell I was doing. I did it as kind of a joke, and she thought it was pretty good. I'm like, okay. She saw something I didn't see.
And on this Good Friday, may everyone pray that we continue this development. And 2 years from now, we meet up in Malta. We'll do a live conference and meet up. All of us, Campbell and Luke and everyone, Michelle and Paul, of course, make it to Malta. We'll keep the ball rolling. And from there, we'll have to be like, hey, Graham Hancock, we're in Malta. You got to come here. And even if we don't agree with all of it, he was a major inspiration to a lot of us bridging in and everything he's doing. So we're
But I'll
going to
tell you what,
manifest it.
and with all due respect to people like Graham, because I got my start with Fingerprints of the Gods. one of them.
Absolutely, yes.
So
yes.
he's a legend in the
He's OG.
area. But I'll tell you what, it's all of the grassroots people coming together like us that are going to like leapfrog.
Yep.
Yeah.
and bring it together even more, because it's it's not just one thing, and it was much more integrated, much more all over the earth, including North America.
All right, I think on that note we should leave on a happy ending. On a nice.
Thanks everybody.
Ending.
Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely.
It's good to see you, by the way, after a long period.
Yep, it's great to see you. Great to see you in person, Beags.
And I was just, it's good to see you as well. Bern, I speak to you on such a regular basis. It doesn't even matter, mate. So it's good to see you again.
For sure, brother. And happy Easter to all of you, and Good Friday. And we will make sure that we do many more of these again.
And Luke is getting better. He'll be back soon. He's been really under the weather, but I've been talking to him, and he is getting better. We will be seeing Luke soon. He's starting to get his smart acidness back, so he's feeling better now.
All right. Much love, everyone.
Yeah,
Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Bye, Paul. Bye, Burns. Bye, Michelle.
Come back, Luke. Ooh, all right, I didn't end it yet because I was going to do a little Brucey bonus on my BurnEye channel. I just posted the link for the live of the stream on BurnEye.